Oh yeah, John.
Robbie, how are you?
Good mate. Nice to see you.
Look,
How the years?
always nice to see you. I catch up, mate. You're looking great. How's life?
Well, so are you. Life's good, mate. I can't complain.
Good stuff. Where have I got you today, Rob? Where's
I'm in
that room?
Geneva. I'm in Geneva in my manager's hotel room.
Okay, cool. So listen, first of all, congratulations on this record coming out on Friday. Then it must be such an amazing thing to do something like that because you're kind of looking back at your life as a solo artist. That the memories must just absolutely fly when you're doing something like that.
Well, to be honest, yeah, it was presented to me that there is there was an anniversary coming up, and that we should mark it with something. Guy Chambers, my musical partner, he came up with the idea of reimagining the album with an orchestra. And, in a room, you go, well, 25 years, we should do 25 songs. Then what actually happens is you have to be in a vocal booth to record 25 songs. I've never recorded 25 songs in a row. And as humans, and I'm sure that you'll be able to attest to this too, do you want to listen to your own voice?
I know what you mean. I don't listen to it exactly.
No, neither do I. So the overarching feeling of actually recording the album, not the product when it arrives and you go, I'm glad that exists. Recording it was just a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I'm re-recording these songs that have meant a lot to a lot of people. I'm revisiting diaries from the past, all at the time of just trying to not sing out of key. So Guy Chambers says we can move on to the next song.
Sure.
Yeah, that's how it's felt. But now in these interviews that I'm doing, I actually get to envision and feel what it actually means to have achieved what I've achieved.
Yes. And I always get a wee bit wary when someone's going to reinterpret something, songs that are like, I think, oh, don't do anything awful to it. And he didn't, which is great, I mean, I've told you a few times, No Regrets is probably still one of my favorite songs of yours, Robbie. And I thought, okay. But you did a nice number on it and you kind of turned it into a very dramatic James Bond, No Regrets.
Yeah, I'd like to take the acclaim that, that's musically all my idea. It was rearranged by a guy called Jules Buckley, who's incredibly talented. And basically, you get an orchestra and they do God's work. And, their talent and God's work combined has elevated these pop songs to a different stratosphere. And in particular, I think No Regrets on this album is a standout track.
Yeah, no, definitely. And another one that really pleased me as well, Robbie, was there's a song of yours I think was kind of criminally underrated. I always loved Tripping from Intensive Care. And I like what you've done with this too. It's kind of less reggae and a wee bit more sort of straight rock, the chorus, isn't
it? Yeah. I've never really been happy with the lyric in Tripping. I think there's a vibe and an energy there. And I think it's like stream of conscious. How'd you say it?
Stream of consciousness. What? Yeah, you got it.
Stream of consciousness. But I'm not sure what stream it was. That being said, I've just done a couple of big gigs and I got Tripping again. I haven't sang it for a while. And it's a vibe, it's a vibe, and it's a different color from anything else that I've done. Plus, I'm quite proud of the fact that I wrote that song on the bass, and that's my bass line. And then yeah, there's a brass line at the end that I wrote too. And I nearly got that song right. If I could have made sense, I think it would have been a bigger song.
Right. Playing bass is good for you, Robbie, isn't it? I love doing it. How often do you play?
I don't. That happened for that album. Intensive Care was I joined a band called Robbie Williams, and I did it with an artist called Stephen Duffy.
Yeah.
And it very much, garage band kind of stuff. He had an endless patience as I tried to figure out with my finger picking how to, do something simple and put together a song musically. I got my kicks on that album doing that way. And then ever since then, I'm like, well, my job and the thing that I find easiest and the thing that I find the most rewarding is melody and lyrics. So since then, I haven't really done it.
A Place to Crash was another great song off that record.
It's the riff that Keith Richards forgot to use.
Yeah,
You know, that it's a Rolling Stones kind of song. I'm glad you know it. And I actually want to put that back in. Well, I want to put that in the set list for the tour. Yeah, because that song in particular, when I left Take That, if I could have envisioned me doing something, it would be a song like Place to Crash.
No, definitely. I get that. And, you know, it's bold what you've done, you know, looking back at the career in this way and reinterpreting those songs. And also a nude photo shoot for the cover. That was bold as well.
Yeah, well, you know, most of the time in the world, I feel uncomfortable and I feel awkward. And the place that I feel the most comfortable is in bed naked, because it's safe there. That does not relate much to the album cover, other than, you know, it's as controversial as you can be these days without getting in trouble. Middle-aged naked man on the sleeve of his own album. And, you know, there's still a little bit of cheeky in there somewhere. And there's still a nod and there's still a wink and there's still a look at me, look how daft I'm being. And also mixed with something serious and like Rodin's The Thinker. I'm into me art these days. And so, you know, bit of a nod, bit of a wink and a little bit of art and bit of nakedness. And there you go.
I was going to throw in a couple of random questions. And one of them was actually going to be, what's your favorite painting of all time?
What's my favorite? Well, weirdly, my favorite painting, for nostalgia's sake, is Constable's The Hay Wain, and there's a reason for that. Woolworths did these prints, and there was like 5 pieces of artwork, and they must have been like £1.20 or something. And one was the Laughing Cavalier, and one was Constable's The Hay Wain, and there it sat on my grandma's wall, framed, you know. So I always used to look at the Hay Wain when I was growing up. Not weird. I've always thought Rothko's stuff and gone, that's a bit of an take. It's just like, it's like 4 of the same color, but in squares. And then you actually see it live and it blows your mind. Well, it blew my mind. Yeah. So I did really dig Rothko, and I really dig Pollock. But there's this woman called Edith. Oh my God, what's her name? Klimt. Edith F. Klimt, and she is fascinating. She was doing. Sorry, let me go off on a tangent because I want people to go and check her out. She was doing, you know, pictures of Sweden and people outside restaurants, the same stuff that everybody was doing. And then one night she got a download from aliens, and her art changed overnight. And she started to do these pyramid shapes and all of these sort of celestial, otherworldly patterns. And this was in like 1903, 1906. And if you think about what the was and where we were and what she was doing, it was revolutionary. So Hilda F. Klimt.
That is random. Your favorite Duran Duran song and why?
I would say my favorite Duran Duran song is The Chauffeur.
Right.
Do you know The Chauffeur?
And it's the last track on Real. It's a great song.
Yeah, that's I also had a real moment with Ordinary World when that came out. Yeah, that touched a spot. But you can put any Duran Duran song on and you'll be happy that it's there and it exists.
Nice one. So back to the normal stuff, Robbie, before we wrap then. How are the shows going? I was looking at your socials. You seem to have a brilliant time in Germany.
Yeah. Having come back from COVID, and I've got a different perspective on my life and my career, you know, I'm feeling tremendous gratitude, because you can be laissez-faire about things, turning up at arenas and having them be full, and turning up at stadiums and having them be full. You know, I've had pause for poise, and I've now been able to recognize how wonderful and bizarre and incredible what I've managed to create is. And I used to know this actor who passed away, and he was teaching me how to be sober. And he was saying, you know, the number one rule is you must love your audience. And in my head, I was like, what? That sounds mental. But I'll just say, okay. Yeah. And I get it now. I get it now that there is, you know, there's all this love coming on stage. Receive it and send it back. And I'm getting to do that right now.
That is perfect.
God bless you. Always a pleasure.
Rob, always a pleasure, Rob. Good luck with everything, mate.
Take care, bud.